And welcome back to Stanny Boy Reviews. I'm your host, Stanley. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out my channel where I barely post reviews
on my favorite horror films and yours.
Clearly, I have been on a break of sorts. And let me tell you, it's been pretty awesome. I've been watching television, Yellow Jackets, which has been literally ruining my entire life. If you guys have not seen Swarm, I completely recommend it. It is mind-blowing, one of the best performances from a female lead I have seen in years. And it's so relevant, it's ridiculous. And I've been making out like a high schooler. And believe it or not, your boy's been auditioning.
You like me.
I have not been booking anything, but it's the principle of the matter. And I've been writing, I've been singing. Life is actually going pretty smoothly right now, give or take. But lo and behold, I am back to talk about Damien Leone's 2022 slasher sequel, Terrifier 2. So go grab your puke bags, go grab your salt shakers, your party horns, your meat cleavers. I'm already seated, you go have a seat, and let's talk about clowns, baby, because we all love clowns, right? I actually really hate clowns. I don't know a lot of people that do like clowns. I'm afraid of the dark, I'm afraid of coconuts. I don't like Oompa Loompas. Oompa Loompa, Doompa-dee-doo. And I most certainly do not like clowns. But I did like Terrifier 2. I should throw that out there right now. But I also should throw it out there that I don't remember Terrifier very well, and I also never reviewed it. So if you're wondering where my review for the first Terrifier is, it doesn't exist. So you're not crazy. I'm just lazy. Either way, it doesn't really matter. You don't need to watch the first Terrifier to watch this movie. I don't think anyway. Terrifier Part 2 was written and directed by Damien Leone. He also produced and edited it too, just like he did with the first one. After the popularity of Terrifier Part 1, he knew he wanted to do a sequel, but knew that it was going to need a little bit more character development and drive, because that was the biggest gripe that the first one got, as far as reviews went. So he went back to concepts he had from years prior, where he would utilize a character from an older script to pit against the now infamous villain of both All Hallows Eve and Terrifier, Art the Clown. This character would be the basis of Sienna, played by Lauren Levera. Come to think, that's probably why I don't remember a lot of Terrifier Part 1. There really was a huge complaint on the lack of narrative throughout, so yeah. Terrifier 2 would secure money and funding from private investors and campaigns. 50,000 of that to go towards just one special effects scene alone, probably the bedroom scene. If you know, you know. The film would receive well over what it was intentionally asking for originally, getting $250,000 for its budget. It would end up being one of the many films to suffer production halts during the pandemic, but nevertheless would eventually see a theatrical release during October of 2022, raking in a surprising $15 million during its limited run. Who would think that it would hold an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 59 out of 100 on Metacritic, and would end up getting generally favorable reviews from audience and critics alike. Especially given the fact that this movie is vile. It is disgusting. We'll get there. Let's just get there, man. I should mention I started this movie at like 8 in the morning on a Wednesday and then had to stop. And I tried to pick it up later on in that afternoon, but had to stop again. And then picked it back up this morning, the morning of this review, and then had to stop it again, went on a hike, and then finished it earlier today. But it took me literally 2 full mornings to get through this entire movie. The last movie that did this to me was Skinamarink, and that was a whole different story. That movie was just a whole different experience. This movie was just so graphic. Let's get on with it. Terrifier 2 picks up where the first one left off, I guess. Remember, I don't remember a lot of Terrifier Part 1, where Art the Clown has somehow survived the events of the first.
They never found his body.
And is still lurking around in this insane little Halloween universe. Oh yeah, happy almost Halloween, you guys. We're almost there. It's almost October. We're introduced to a teenage girl named Sienna, played by Lauren Levera, who lives with her mom, Barbara, played by Sarah Voigt, and her little brother, Jonathan, played by Elliot Fuller. This family is far from perfect. Dad died not too long ago from a brain tumor, leaving mom a neurotic, yelling mess. Little brother is also obsessed with murder and serial killers, and Sienna is a little on edge herself and downs antidepressants like they're candy. A-okay on the family portrait. One night, Sienna has a strange dream involving Art the Clown, and the next night is Halloween, and you can only assume where this is going to go, but I can assure you that it is so much worse than that. so much worse. So much worse than you could possibly think. It is so bad. This was my face about 79% of the movie. I could not believe how much these filmmakers got away with, you guys. The death scenes are just so... I'm not weak. I can handle a lot. Like, a lot. Every time I thought that, you know, it couldn't get any worse, it did. I have an actress friend who was up for a part in this movie, and she never told me which part exactly, but she told me she opted out because there was too much face stuff. I asked her what face stuff meant, and she told me I would see if I ever got around to watching it. And truth be told, I never planned to watch this movie, but now that I've seen it, I get it. I'm a little scathed. This movie left an imprint as far as the gore. I've seen quite a bit, but this is a whole nother tier, bruh. The gorehounds are definitely going to have a heyday with this one, or already have. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who has not yet seen this movie, or who has just seen it. The wonderful, albeit disgusting special effects aside, this movie worked so well, and I did not expect that. The acting is so up to par, especially from the lead final girl, Lauren Rivera. I was on board with her from beginning to end. She portrayed such a display of emotion, and I just liked her. And every time I thought Mom, Barbara, was a little too shrill, she pulled it back and was given something real to do. My only complaint really would be the little brother and the same face that he had the entire time. That was his acting. And while I was annoyed for the running length of this movie, I guess I get it. There was so much character development here. By the time each of these characters are killed, spoiler, everyone dies, I actually gave a which is so weird for a movie like this. Which is why those death scenes hurt just a little bit more than your average death scene. That and the actors here did a pretty fine job. Granted, there were a few plot lines that I didn't care for or need. I didn't give a about the silly sword that the dad gave the sister, or really anything involving the dad. I could have done completely without, and that probably would have shaved off a good 15 or 20 minutes. But what made up for that was the little pale girl and all of her antics. I loved that character. I laughed. I was creeped out. All of that was good. Amelia McLean can definitely come back for Terrifier Part 3. Rostislav Weinstock and Paul Wiley, who did the music for Terrifier Part 1, are here for the music for this film. And the music is so effective. I kept thinking that the entire time I was watching. Like, how good is this music? There's so much synth/80s stuff going on, and all of it just adds to the bloody up journey. It adds so many layers to everything, and it all accumulates so nicely in the final act of the old carnival. That's where the music really kicks in. I can honestly say that Damien Leone really outdid himself here as a director, as a writer, and it's really cool to watch him grow as a filmmaker. He has been responsible for this entire franchise from All Hallows Eve to Terrifier to this one, and hopefully with the next installment. He created a cool villain that is spooky and has a stylish quality that emits fear and dread. But with this sequel, he's completely amplified all of that tenfold, and the Terrifier name is here to stay because of this movie, I think. I strongly suggest not eating breakfast while watching this like I did. And yo, if Homeboy could put all of this on paper and film all of this and get away with it, especially that bedroom scene, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Why am I sitting here just talking about these movies? I should be making everything that goes on in this up head of mine. Had a lot of coffee today. So on Stanny's Stab-O-Meter, I give Terrifier 2 4.5 stabs. Why not a perfect score? While I understand the length, I didn't say I liked the length. Like I always say, no movie needs to be over 2 hours long, unless you're perfect. And also, the plot lines that I didn't need or want, I really didn't need or want them. But seriously, 4.5 stabs? Terrifier 2 improves so much upon the first film and All Hallows Eve, which, by the way, is the prequel to Terrifier, I think. I should probably revisit both of these movies. I'm on board for a third film. I like Art the Clown. I think he's a genuinely frightening figure. I really felt like I was watching a love child of Rob Zombie and Tobe Hooper. I don't know. So what did you guys think? I cannot be the only one who is just now seeing Terrifier 2. Have you seen it? Do you plan on watching it? Let me know what you think in the comments. And don't forget, I am on social media. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on TikTok. And don't forget to subscribe. I know I keep taking these little breaks here and there, but I'm still here, obviously. Monsterpalooza's coming up. I'll be there one of the days, I think. If you see me, say hi. I will see you again soon with another review. Be safe. Take care.